Welcome to the Q3 2022 State of NAIFA webinar. We'll get started in just a few minutes. We will now begin our broadcast. Welcome to the Q3 2022 State of NAIFA webinar. It is now my pleasure to introduce NAIFA President Larry Holzberg.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy summer. And I hope everybody had a wonderful 4th of July. We're happy to report on our Q3 State of NAIFA, and I will tell you the State of NAIFA is as strong as ever. I'm going to spend my time talking specifically about our event that's coming up in August, APAC. Kevin and Diane will do a deeper dive of the business implementation of NAIFA and all the great advocacy work that we are doing, including, I'm sure, a small recap of CON and all our great wins. But I'm going to spend our time talking about APAC. APAC 2022, which is August 15th through 19th at the beautiful Arizona Biltmore, is going to be an especially super event that is designed for producers at any level. We'll have learning labs with speakers, topics that focus on sales and marketing, supported by the leading companies in the financial services industry. You'll see a slide of all the participants who are sponsoring and partnering with us. The industry has recognized this is a conference that's needed to happen and are excited about people coming to it and have gotten behind it and supporting it in great ways. It is a uniquely different conference than we've ever had. It's not the designed, what I would call old NAIFA in a box conference. This is going to be innovative. This is going to be exciting. It's going to help you become a better person and a better advisor. And we're going to do it at probably one of the finest resorts in the country at the Arizona Biltmore, which is a 5-star resort that's absolutely spectacular. A lot of people said they may not know the speakers we have. And what I will tell you is I'm going to go through our keynote speakers a little bit. But I have found sometimes it's the speaker you don't know that becomes the most important speaker you ever heard. So I want to talk about our 5 keynote speakers. And the first one we'll talk about is Alex Banyan. We chose Alex because we all know firsthand how hard our business is. Rewarding, but not always easy. To stay pumped up, not to give up. And to be able to really thrive in financial services, mindset is everything. We chose Alex to help strengthen your mental mindset so you can grow your practice and get to the next level. Alex is an expert in high performance and personal development research. He's interviewed and researched top leaders in innovation. He's developed a new system of thinking that he outlines in his book that will allow you to achieve breakthroughs in what's holding you back and reaching your potential. Alex is bringing this information to APAC attendees so we can achieve more in 2022. Morris Morrison is a world-class writer and entrepreneur. Morris is personally accountability nut and focuses on how you level accountability and relationship is linked to your total success. We chose Morris because personal accountability to your clients, to your prospecting time, to your time devoted to building your practice is a critical component to success. And while we all know what we should do, we often don't have the tools to do it well. Morris is going to work with us to develop personal accountability plan so that we can accelerate developing rapport with prospects to convert them to clients faster and build deeper trust with clients so we can help financial guidance for decades. Cody Askins. Cody is the founder of 8% Nation and CEO of 8 other companies focused on training and growing insurance financial professionals. We chose Cody because he's developed a scalable, repeatable system for developing leads and growing your client base. Cody is going to share with us how he uses an integrated marketing approach to gain influence and followers on social media and why this is working so well in developing the next generation of agents and advisors. If you need to expand and or need to grow the number of advisors in your firm, then you'll love Cody's plan that will personalize you for you in his learning lab after his keynote. Michelle Rosen. Michelle has a PhD in psychology and she's known as the Change Doctor. If you ever needed a doctor now for change, this is the time. She's appeared on NBC, ABC, Fox News, and CNN. She specializes in resilience and adaptability to change. We chose Dr. Rosen because all of us experienced such disruption in COVID. While things are returning to normal, we know it's the new normal and more change is inevitable. We wanted to equip our attendees with a methodology for how to change without fear and use change to inspire you to do more and stay healthy. Caleb Gilliams. Caleb was put in charge of an entire investment department of a bank at age 19, was mentored by top financial advisors in the industry before founding Better Wealth, which allows clients to rethink their relationship with money and their future. Author of the And Assets and an Industry Speaker, expert at understanding how to work in the digital environment that now dominates the financial securities industry. And he's going to bring that knowledge and education to you. So as you can see, we have an incredibly robust keynote speakers and learning labs. an incredible event coming up at a wonderful resort that we can enjoy all together at a pricing that one cannot imagine. I will ask everybody as quickly as possible to take action because rooms are being filled up quickly and our room block comes up mid-July. So we want you to register as soon as possible so you can take advantage of those savings. I'd like now to turn it over to our CEO, Kevin Mayeux.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and welcome everybody to our Q3 State of NAIFA update. It's hard to believe that we're already in July of 2022. We've already started the third quarter for this year. I did want to talk to you about some things that we've accomplished during the first two quarters, and particularly what we did in Q2. One, we've talked about this on all of our calls. All of our work in NAIFA continues to be guided by our NAIFA 2025 strategic plan. And that plan focuses on three key pillars, which is membership growth, brand amplification, and providing a tremendous member experience all across the NAIFA nation. What we do each year is outlined in our business implementation plan, and our 2022 business implementation plan talks about a lot of the key things that we're doing throughout the course of this year. Our plans are open and available for everyone to review, both the NAIFA 2025 strategic plan and the work they're doing during this fiscal year and the 2022 business implementation plan. That's available for our members, our volunteers, our partners, our stakeholders, and the general public to take a look at. And that's available at www.naifa.org/2025. We also make sure that we report back to our members on a regular basis as to our progress on that plan, because we believe in transparency. And so we report back on a quarterly basis through dashboard reports that go out again to all of our key constituencies, letting them know what we've been able to do on those three key pillars, what progress we've made, where we've had some hiccups along the way, and what our plans are to keep on track throughout the year. The dashboard for Q2 will be distributed shortly. We're now just getting together the final numbers as to where we ended the end of June, and we'll be distributing that to you, the NAIFA Nation, in the weeks ahead. So keep an eye out for the Q2 dashboard, which will be coming out again in the very, very near future. We also had an opportunity over the course of Q2 to strengthen our industry partnerships and to do that through collaboration. And by collaborating, we work with other key industry groups to combine our strengths and their strengths to come up with something that's better than what either one of us could do individually as associations. And we did that with groups like ACLI, Life Happens, the Society of Financial Services Professionals, LIMRA, the International DI Society, NAIA, LIA, and WIFS, just to name a few. And a few things that we collaborated on specifically over the past quarter was we had a CEO panel at our congressional conference where we were joined by the president and CEO of the American College, George Nichols, the president and CEO of ACLI, Susan Neely, and also the president and CEO of IRI, Wayne Chopas, all present during our conference to share their thoughts and perspectives, and to also understand, again, the value that NAIFA and NAIFA members bring to the table as a grassroots storytellers for our industry. Also in June, our executive committee and our key department heads from the NAIFA staff had an opportunity to visit with the ACLI board of directors and have dinner with them. Break bread, have an opportunity to share thoughts, perspectives, but get to know each other again as people, particularly as we're all emerging from COVID and the fact that we haven't had a lot of in-person activities since 2020. Great opportunity to do that in June. We're also active in working with LIMRA and its partner organizations on the Help Protect Our Families campaign, which is really to help shore up the insurance gap that exists out there in America, both with uninsured and underinsured Americans, to help them get the right financial protection products that they need so that they can be protected throughout life. We also have a quarterly meeting with all of our advocacy partners. We share what's going on Capitol Hill and the role that all of us can play in amplifying our voice together to work on behalf of 90 million American families. And again, make sure the American consumer and their perspective is represented before members of Congress when they're making public policy decisions. And then, of course, we've got the Financial Security Alliance, which is we are a proud part of, and it's a great way to send information directly to consumers. If you haven't checked out the Financial Security Alliance, please do so, and check out particularly our page, financialsecurity.org, where not only can members of the public go to get general information like on financial literacy, et cetera, but also find a trusted advisor to help them put together their right plan. And those trusted advisors are members of NAIFA. The congressional conference, which Diane will probably go into a little more in a second, was a tremendous success. We had more than 500 participants there, representing 263 congressional districts. A really exciting part about that is 162 of those participants were first-time attendees. So it's great that we've got so many people that come back each year, because that historical knowledge and those relationships that NAIFA members build with members of Congress is key. But we had 162 people come for the very first time back in May, so that's tremendous. Hopefully we'll get them to come back in future years and help build and amplify that voice, again, before members of Congress and their staff. We were able to visit 80 offices in the United States Senate. Great opportunity there as we work for things like passing key legislation like Secure 2.0, and to make sure the members of the Senate understand, again, how things impact real-world Americans. Our members attended training, legislative briefings. We heard from Senator Ben Sass, who gave just a great how things really work in DC kind of presentation to our members. We discussed the importance of agents and advisors and the role that they play helping, again, Main Street American families all across this country and small businesses, and help them succeed. And we also talked about the importance of August in-district meetings, which, again, Diane will go into greater detail in a few minutes. We also in May held our 7th annual DEI Symposium in Washington, D.C., and it was great that we were able to do that again face-to-face again. Part of our strategic plan focuses on serving every single person in America, no matter where they're from or their background, no matter what street they live on, and making sure they've got access to financial protection products and can put together the right financial plan for life. And that includes particularly those in the DEI space. We had some absolutely tremendous speakers for that conference. It included NAIFA trustee Chris Gandy. We had a panel discussion that he led that also included Dennis Martin, who's the president of Individual Life and Financial Services at One America, and Kristen Dorm, who's the VP of Agency Growth and Development at One America. Our DEI Council co-chair, Angie White, presented. She's from Equitable. Tony Gonzalez, who's Vice President of Women in Insurance and Financial Services, WIFS, again, one of our key partners, also presented on womanthology. Lynette Mason, VP of Service and Individual Operations from Emeritus, presented. Richie Marrero, Employee Benefits Specialist at 360 Benefits, presented. And Ron Adams, VP of Career Distribution for Northwestern Mutual. Just a tremendous lineup of industry leaders that were present during our DEI Symposium. And again, we did all that to discuss how we bring more talent into the industry, how we bring more talent into the profession, and again, how we reach more diverse markets. So again, everyone has the opportunity to be financially prepared for life. We also discussed the launch of the NAIFA Foundation for Financial Security and a scholarship fund that we've got that's aimed at, again, recruiting more diverse advisors. It was an absolutely tremendous event. A lot of company representatives there, and a robust number of NAIFA members attended the conference as well. So again, that's part of our strategic plan, helping to build a more diverse profession, but also serve every single American out there, because it's critical that everybody be financially prepared for life. If you'd like to see any of the information that was distributed, or I think we've got a lot of those sessions that were videotaped, that's available in our Talent Development Center on the NAIFA website. So if you want to go directly to that, it is TDC, which is Talent Development Center, tdc.naifa.org/diversity. Our third quarter programming and events that are coming up for you guys and the broader community of agents and advisors out there includes, just like our president talked about, Apex, an absolutely tremendous event at a world-class property, the only Frank Lloyd Wright designed/inspired property in the world, hotel property in the world, out there in the week of August 15th through the 19th at the Arizona Biltmore in Phoenix. We have a rate that is unsurpassed. It's about a third of what their published rate was last week on their website, and it's for NAIFA members and non-members, any advisor, to go to this premier sales symposium. We hope that all of you will join us there and encourage your friends and colleagues to do the same thing, because not only do we have that tremendous outline of speakers that Larry went over, but it's just going to be a great opportunity to fellowship and to spend time with each other at a world-class, iconic resort at an exceptional rate. And it would just be a great way to make sure that we continue through the fall season on a strong beat so everybody can close their year well. We also have our second Advanced Practice Symposium, which will be held September 29th in Philadelphia. This is a joint venture between NAIFA and the Society of Financial Service Professionals. So we hope that you'll be able to join us if you're in the Philadelphia area on September 29th for that. Absolutely tremendous. That's building on the success we had in Phoenix a couple of months ago. It's an in-person event, and it brings together, again, great industry expertise between FSP and NAIFA, two tremendous organizations that serve this industry exceptionally well. And another great place to learn more about our industry and your fellow NAIFA members and all the great work that NAIFA and our members are doing every day is through Advisor Today magazine. I know that you all are people that regularly check out Advisor Today, whether it's in print or it's in digital version, and of course we do both. But that's just a great opportunity to keep up with the great work that's being done, but also to hear the stories about how NAIFA members positively impact their community, their clients, etc. So check those out. We have multiple blog posts that are available. We talk again about, we focus on NAIFA members and help tell their stories. Just a tremendous forum to talk about all the great stuff being done in the profession. The second print issue of Advisor Today is being mailed to all of our NAIFA members and other subscribers and should be in your inbox in the next few weeks. So keep an eye out for that. It'll recap a lot of the great stuff that happened and also forecast a lot of the great events that are coming up in the near future so we can encourage everyone to participate. So we'll talk again about the Congressional Conference, we'll talk about Apex, and we'll also share perspectives from several key industry leaders. So I think you've heard enough from me now. So now let's pass it on to somebody who can add some real meat and potatoes to our conversation. And that is our NAIFA Senior Vice President of Government Relations, Ms. Diane Boyle. Diane?
Thank you, Kevin. It's always good to be with the group and listen to what's going on. Accomplished a lot, which is really exciting. Speaking of exciting, let's look at my favorite time of year, which is the Congressional Conference. As Kevin said, it was a huge success. It was the first time that we were back in person, and it didn't disappoint. It was exciting to see, as Kevin said, over 160 new people, which was wonderful to see the next generation of our membership really getting involved in advocacy because it makes a difference. It was wonderful to see, the folks who come year in and year out to Congressional Conference because they've seen the difference that they can make when working with legislators and developing those relationships. And it matters on the Hill. You hear from legislators. They want to hear from their constituents. They want to develop those trusted relationships, and nobody does it better than NAIFA members. So it really is my favorite time of year. And not only is it my favorite time of year, it actually produces some results that are meaningful in the way of public policy. So if you look at some of the things that we talked about when we were on the Hill, we talked about retirement enhancement legislation that's Secure 2.0. We talked about worker classification issues, and we talked about the challenge that tax changes could have on our industry and how it would impact the products and the services that our members provide to Main Street American families and businesses. So we've seen the ball move. In Congress, things move slowly until they don't, and then they move very quickly. But we're in the moving slowly process right now. And right after the Congressional Conference, we knew that the House had already passed its version of Secure 2.0. We were coming in and really having those conversations with the Senate offices to say, let's keep the momentum going. Let's take the next step. We know it's a process that has to be done, and it's done slowly, but we need to continue to advance the ball on retirement security, and we urged them to act, and they did that. The Help Committee came out with its version, had a markup on its version of the Secure 2.0 or on those retirement enhancements. The Senate Finance Committee just recently finished its markup. Next will come that they actually have to combine these sort of three versions, if you will, the House passed version, the markup that was done in the Finance Committee, and the markup that was done in the Help Committee, to get those versions to all look the same so that the president can sign it into law. In order to do that, you can either have, if you remember, how a bill becomes a law, the House passes it, it goes to the Senate passes it, and then the president signs it, and it's all wonderful. We all know that the sausage making is a little more complicated than that. And so there's an option where you can sort of pre-conference. So a version that passed the House, which is different than what has passed the Senate, can you get those versions to match by doing something called pre-conference, and you sort of work through the differences between the legislation so that you have one bill that's then attached to something that's going to make its way through both houses, the House and the Senate, that can then be passed into law. And so we're looking for that vehicle. The reality is that vehicle is likely to come a year-end spending bill. So we're going to continue to talk about these issues. And we've seen that those conversations have advanced the process. So don't sit back and think, well, why was I even involved? This was so slow. It is slow, but it's that steady drumbeat that NAIFA members that you provide when meeting with your legislator that keeps that pressure on to say, we can do this. It is a priority for the consumers that I work with. It is a priority for your constituents. Let's make sure we get it done. So we'll be talking about that issue again when we meet with legislators during the in-district meetings, with Kevin had mentioned. The worker classification issue, that was something that we said, hey, DLL is kind of looking at this issue on worker classification. We have seen the legislative side of that effort sort of die down a bit, but we're seeing the agencies sort of flex their muscle, and we want to make sure that we're influencing them and making sure that they have the information that they need to make smart decisions. And so the Department of Labor recently had a worker classification forum where they talked about, should somebody be classified as an employee or an independent contractor, and how is that done and why is that important? And so we had Josh O'Gara, who serves as the Massachusetts state president. He also serves as the NAIFA grassroots co-chair for our committee on grassroots, which helps our members develop relationships with lawmakers, both at the state level and the federal level. So Josh is intimately involved in this issue, represented the organization really well. The Secretary of the Department of Labor, as you know, is Secretary Walsh. She's from Massachusetts, so we had that tie there too. And that's something that we don't always talk about at NAIFA, or that you might not realize. But that's the strength that NAIFA brings, is because we have members in every community. When we have an opportunity, we put a lot of energy and strategy together to say, who is the best person to represent us in a given situation? And we can put that foot forward. And by having such a broad membership that's in every community, we can do that because that's who you serve. And anyway, I'm getting on my soapbox. You got me ginned up. All right, I'll move off of that. I'm going to talk about taxes. Taxes are still high on our list. As you know, tax code has implications on the products and the service that you provide. Depending on how they're structured, they could make it more difficult or more expensive for you to provide those services. There's a process called reconciliation that we've talked about that would allow a tax measure to go through using just a simple majority in the Senate, and that would require the tiebreaker with the vice president, so they can pass it in the Senate if Democrats wanted to put forth a proposal. There have been challenges with getting something agreed upon by all of even the Democrats. A bipartisan tax bill at this point is really impossible to think it would get through with so few legislative days. Idea of using reconciliation is still very appealing. There's an effort underway in conversations again with Senator Manchin and Senator Schumer to see if they can get this going. And if they do, it would be primarily on the energy side of things. It would look at Medicare being able to negotiate prescription drug prices, sort of outside of our area. But whenever you start talking about legislation that has tax implications, the pay-fors could be looked at and could include a laundry list of items that could negatively impact our industry. So we want to watch for that. What we've seen so far is that your work on having those conversations in the House, what the House had originally passed, are items that could have been really harmful to the industry, and they were sort of pulled off the table. So your work there was good. Now, we haven't seen exactly what is being proposed and what can be agreed upon, because you have to get all 50 Democrat senators to agree that it's a good idea. And then you have to have the vice president, as I said, to come in and do a tiebreaker in order to get it over the edge. So they're still negotiating what's there, but our negotiation starting point is at a much improved place. It doesn't mean that we're not still at risk. It doesn't mean that there can be, discussions that would be concerning and sort of change that direction. So we're watching all of that. Really long-winded way of saying the work that you've put in, that congressional conference, the in-district meetings, which I'm going to talk about next, and some of our other opportunities, the engagement that you have absolutely is making a difference, and it absolutely must continue. It's not a one and done effort. So let's take a look at what else we have going on in the way of involvement in getting our members excited and being part of the process. One of the things that we rolled out, we were hoping to announce the winner at congressional conference, but I don't know, the electorate didn't agree with our timing, was we had something that we called IPAC Madness. And so we rolled out some of the primary elections and allowed our members to go in and select, who you thought would win the primary. And I'm pleased to say that Andra Brava is our winner. He identified correctly the most primary elections that were held just prior to congressional conference and was picking the winner. We were waiting to hear the results of Pennsylvania, which, as you know, the Republican primary there was won by Dr. Oz, and that was something that we had to wait for those results to come out in order to tabulate who the winners were. But IPAC Madness is just one of the ways in which we try to engage and make it fun to participate in the political process, because it actually really does make a difference. And getting involved early on allows you to develop a relationship with potential future lawmakers. And once they become elected, either in the state houses or for Congress, we want to have that conversation. And to the extent that you're involved in their campaigns, to the extent that they know that you are out helping spread the word about what their campaigns were about, what their goals were, you're developing that relationship very much like you do in your businesses, and it makes a difference, and it's a really good thing. So we try to make it fun periodically, just to expose you a little bit to some of the election side of things, get you involved in the primaries, then obviously in the general election, and in between the two, we have to make sure that we're educating lawmakers on what it is that we do. So let's talk a little bit about what some of our successes actually were, and show some photos of, this is Wisconsin in action, if you will. We also have a picture of the Michigan governor signing into law a personal finance education course requirement that NAIFA supported and had been really active in making sure it got through. Michigan is the 14th state to actually enact that. So we're starting to see the states model different types of proposals from one state to the next. And it's really important, because even though a personal finance high school course requirement isn't something that's going to directly benefit NAIFA members in the short term, in the long term, it absolutely will. When you sit down with consumers to talk about their financial goals, having a basic understanding of how money works positions people to make smarter choices. And so if we can start that education process at an earlier age, it's going to benefit not only our membership, but certainly the clients that you work with. If people can start understanding and making smarter decisions coming out of high school, even with how do you finance college? What are some of the decisions that you're making? And what I thought was really interesting too is we're seeing more and more states get involved in the personal finance education side of things, is that the teachers who are teaching the courses are actually being educated as well, and that's a good thing. Anyway, we're working on that too. Some of the other state wins: California defeated costly disclosure legislation. We had that die. Again, NAIFA members involved make a difference. Tennessee modified qualifications for their insurance applicants. That was something that one of the speakers that Larry had mentioned is going to talk about at Apex, which is really exciting, is how do we get more people into the business? How do we do these things? And so Tennessee and our other states are looking, in our efforts, even working with the NAIC and NCOIL, figure out how do we get more people into the business, and what changes do we need to make to ease that access of getting into the business, while making sure that it is still a very much professionally run avoiding the scams, and getting people in so that it truly is the noble profession that you guys know and love, but that we're making sure that we're bringing in that next generation so that we are serving all communities, which we do, but that we continue to do that, especially as our population, including our membership, is aging and moving on. Make sure we have that next generation ready to go. And we had 5 additional states, Maryland, Wisconsin, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Hawaii, to actually join other states in adopting the NAIC best interest model. So that pushed us over that halfway mark. We have 27 states that have now adopted that. That ties hand in hand with the federal legislative issues that we're dealing with on standard of care. If we're showing that we have the SEC, Reg BI, and the states taking action, it all ties together and really says to the Department of Labor, this isn't something that you need to look at. Going to a fiduciary only model is not where you need to be. Look at all the good stuff that we've done. NAIFA has also been involved in working with CMS and Medicare and you handbook that comes out each year. NAIFA is tapped every year to take a look at the upcoming edition. So we just completed our work with CMS on the 2023 version of Medicare and You handbook. Illinois passed Association CE credit legislation. And there's a ton more that's going on, but there's lots of good stuff that has happened and will continue to occur because of the involvement by our membership. We launched the 2022 primary election social media push, talking about getting out the vote. That included some of that primary madness that we talked about. Again, trying to make sure that we're having a good time while we're doing really good work. Great resources available there. And then we're gearing up as we talk about the elections coming in November. We want to make sure that we're out and meeting the candidates. I talked about that a little bit before. NAIFA Alaska has a great idea. They've already posted their Alaska social where you can meet and greet the new candidates, because the next wave of lawmakers that are coming in need to be exposed to us. They need to have NAIFA members as a trusted resource that they can tap as they start considering proposals. And getting to know them early on really makes a lot of sense. And it makes it a lot of fun when you gather with your fellow NAIFA members to do it. So kudos to Alaska, and I know a number of our other states are gearing up to do the same, which is fantastic. If we'll talk next about the August Advocacy. And I promise I will wrap up in 2 seconds. August Advocacy, in-district meetings. We talked about congressional conference. You went out and had these great conversations. When you meet in August, and these 3 gentlemen did a great job of having a little dialogue. There's a video that's out. Definitely check it out. It talks about why you should be involved and why meeting in district is sometimes even better than congressional conference. I would slightly disagree with that, only because I love seeing everybody in DC. I would say it's just as important as meeting in DC is to meet in district. The difference is you get more time back home. So it really is a good opportunity to participate. We're opening it up. There's an opportunity if you'd like to participate and meet with your legislator in August. Let us know. We're going to put you in touch with our grassroots chairs in the states. They're going to schedule the meetings. I'll let you know when they are. If you can come, that would be fantastic. We really want to have a nice showing of the in-district meetings because it's that constant drumbeat, right? We're going to have that August meeting. You're going to establish that relationship as things start to pop up between now and the election, which is really important. We're going to want to make sure that they know how to reach you and get in touch with you and have NAIFA weigh in. We're going to have the elections. We're going to have a lame duck session. That's where I think we're really going to have to push our policy initiatives that we want to get done this year. And then we're going to have a new Congress, and we're going to have to develop relationships with all of those new people. And that's what's really fun, is that you get to go and do what you do best. Tell them how you serve their constituents and how you can make a difference. And it really is how we get to better legislative proposals. It's how we secure the financial certainty for individuals. it's what you like to do. You like to help people. So this is great. It's helping lawmakers to make those smart decisions so that we can better serve our communities. With that, Larry, back to you.
Thank you, Diane and Kevin. It's a lot of people ask me, why should I join this organization? After I just listened to what we've accomplished and we continue to accomplish, I ask, how can't you be a member of this organization? It's not only what we do for our members who are in the financial services business, what we do for our clients and our customers and society itself. And what we've also started to do is expanding the industry and working with our different partners. It is a very exciting time for our organization and for our industry. And I will tell you, the more you give, the more you get involved, the more you'll get out of being a member of NAIFA and all the things that are available to you. I urge everyone, if you thought Congressional Conference was great, you'll find APEX even better. A different type of meeting, special, but it also shows when we show up, wherever we show up, we make a community, we make the industry better. So I look forward to everybody joining us in Arizona. I want to wish everyone a very good and wonderful summer. Enjoy the summer. As you can tell, it used to be the downtime. No longer is it the downtime for us. We're always busy, always moving forward. I wish everyone a happy summer. Everybody stay well, and look forward to seeing everybody next month in Arizona. Thanks, and have a great day.